Welcome to Origin Stories. I'm RD.
I'm Parrott.
We're telling stories behind the digital art revolution
Each week we interview top artists.
and live stream with the community.
Let's go. Today is tomorrow's origin story.
Good morning, Roger.
Good morning, Parrott. How are you, man?
Good. Sorry we're a few minutes late, everybody. I had to wait to get my coffee delivered.
Dude, every time I get on a call with someone and they present a fresh coffee, I always think in the back of my mind, I'm like, I needed a second cup. Why didn't I get a second cup? we must persist. We must persist with our live stream.
Yep. That's the way it goes. Well, good morning, buddy. Good morning. We're doing a early show today. It feels nice being up early and getting on here, honestly.
Yeah, man. Shout out to you. I mean, it's far earlier there than it is here. Of course, travel is the name of the game these days, right? And you're headed back from coast to coast. So
yeah, once again,
coffee in hand on the Pacific Coast. Good morning to Harrison. What's going on? Juicera, good morning.
GM.
That's right. All right. So we have so many things to talk about. I was in actually a really good conversation the other day. I'm sure many of us in this community have been in conversations like this, but it's, a month plus ago, I personally came to the realization of I can't keep up with everything. But I think I've been caught in this middle ground. Maybe some folks feel the same way. Parrott, do you feel the same way? That it's like you realize I can't keep up with everything, and yet there's still a piece of you trying to keep up with everything because it was once possible. And it's like, let me just keep pursuing all of this, and it just feels very stretched at the moment. Do you feel that way?
Yeah. I think it's a little bit better now than it was. But I definitely feel stretched at times. So, I missed loot and bloot and all that stuff, and I was just completely off my radar. And there's things that happen like that every week, maybe even every day to a certain extent. I've slowly come to peace with that, in terms with that I can't be there to see and catch everything like I once was able to in my younger days.
Your younger days, right? All of our younger days. Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's this, what I've learned, I often ask this question in interviews, was it a light switch or was it a progression? In other words, did it happen right away? You realized it and you did it, or did it just take time and it came in phases and it came in waves? And for me, what I'm finding is giving up, releasing the grip of trying to understand everything all at once is definitely coming in phases, not all at once.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. 100% on that.
Sky Gulping in here. What's going on? So let's talk, dude, let's just start hitting topics because I feel like we have so much out there. Community, all of you, Harrison, Juicera, Sky, anyone who wants to jam on anything, please just throw it in the chat. Let's make this a good rollicking canvas of the NFT space. Let's start with, if I may, let's start with something that's coming, something that's extremely relevant this hour. I think we're 51 minutes away from the release of Timepieces from Time Magazine. Shout out Keith Grossman, who I just spent some good time with, along with you, man, at the NFT Now opening. Love what they're doing. A lot of amazing artists involved in that. Fuckrender, Victor, Beige, Micah Johnson, etc. There are so many. What are your thoughts on that? Have you kept up?
Kept up a little bit. Saw it posted yesterday. Scrolled through there really, really quickly. I was doing some things in real life yesterday, so I didn't get the biggest chance to dive in there. But saw that they're releasing a bunch of stuff with artists, and I think it's cool that they're one of the first media companies to fully, and very large media companies to fully dive into that and start doing their own mints with artists like that. Very, very cool.
Yeah, man, I'm a firm believer that the larger companies that are first movers in this, of which obviously Time is at the head of the class or towards the head of the class, I think they just go down as historical winners. Period. End of story.
Yeah, exactly. And we've seen that happen with artists like Beeple and other large artists. The first is an important thing in this space, whether you're an artist of a certain caliber or genre, whether you're a large company or a small company, these milestones will happen at different points. And I think the first people to do that will have historical provenance.
Yeah. And especially the depths that, there are first movers and then there are first movers. And so like what I mean by that is a first mover may be someone who's like, oh, okay, there's something here. Let me like dip a toe and do a little bit of an experiment. What Time Magazine is doing is becoming a first mover. Like they have canvassed, they have brought in so many artists to this project, and they've planted their flag. They're like associating it with, memberships and content and how this thing will, like, it's very clear they have a large plan in place here. And again, I just believe that they will be so dramatically rewarded. Maybe one of the finest examples a decade plus down the road of having a major media company, of which many are dying, but a major media company that successfully pivoted into a new frontier. I think that they very well could be that 5, 10, 15 years from now.
Yeah, it's like having a website before everybody else,
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think with the accelerated pace of things these days, I think they're not going to have to wait that full decade to reap the rewards. I think those rewards are going to come far sooner.
I agree. Yeah, that's a good point.
But all right, that's me, man. That's topic number 1. So for those who don't know, those timepieces, they go up at 12 p.m. Eastern. So I still have a little bit of cursory research to do. I'm sure there may be a gas war, so I think they may be tough to get. But nevertheless, just so people are aware, that's when they go live. And this is not a paid sponsorship. It's just something that I think is very relevant. What's on your mind, man?
Harrison asks, "Are we buying any?"
I'm gonna try with no expectations. I think it's one of those things where I'd be shocked if there aren't gas wars. I'd be shocked if there, aren't lags or delays or whatever. I'm sure they'll have their I's dotted and their T's crossed. But you know how these things go. Like when there's a limited quantity of something that's attached to a big artist, a big collection of artists, and/or a big brand, it's like I just go in with no expectations. Like I'll click a button. I will attempt to pay some gas, but I'm not going to expect to come out of there with even one. Like I would not be surprised if it's 0. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
What's on my mind? Sold a Sepduck yesterday. Of course, the floor jumps up like 50%.
They're on fire right now.
Every time, yeah. I think I'm a top signal, unfortunately.
Hey, man.
Or the opposite, rather the opposite of a top signal. Like when I sell is when the floor moons.
Dude, well, hey, you remember your example from the Bored Apes, right?
How could I forget?
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry because you still did really, really well. And I think it's still a really good example of like not having too many regrets when, like, I think you're going to come out way, way ahead overall with that.
It's all fun and games.
All right, good. remember, I never had any to begin with, but I'll give you. So I am the Sepduck version of your Bored Apes.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I remember.
I still have two that I have never.
Like 60.
I had 60. Exactly. So, it is what it is. And again, I think it's maybe some advice, like just some advice in general. I think it's important to understand what you're doing at a macro level and not get too caught up in something that happens at the micro. And so that means like not cherry picking the project that like you see the floor vault on after you exited all or most of what you had. Like if you were entering a project with the intent to ultimately sell like a decent chunk of what you had, just no regret. Like, let's be honest, you probably repositioned that ETH elsewhere, right? Yeah. And so if you were truly doing a postmortem and figuring out, did you lose or did you win or did you fall somewhere in between, you would actually have to go through exactly how you reallocated that ETH,
right?
And potentially reallocated that, and then reallocated that, and then reallocated that.
It's a momentum thing. It's a butterfly effect. It's just a little drop in the pond.
And you'd have to go through a postmortem of how ETH moved in the times. Like all of these things are consideration. So I think my personal advice to anybody who is out there investing and holding some things forever, trading some things in the short term, some things in the midterm, like it's a real slippery slope. Don't let yourself get lost too much in the weeds of looking at one item and saying like, I had this, I let go of it here. now it's here, I suck, the sky's falling. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
pull yourself out of that a little bit.
I think it's healthy to take profits at certain points. I see. There's some discussions on Twitter last week with, I don't know who it was, got like a $2 million offer on their ape or something like that, and they're like, I'm holding until 2.5, and everyone's like,
yeah. Well, that's a great example, right? Because if that person was like, I'm holding, period. Because I think that this is historical. I think this is going to represent the direction of the industry. I think this will be looked back upon as an example for generation to come.
Yeah,
that's a whole different conversation. Then you're talking about something you feel like could actually appreciate far more than that. But if your answer is I'm holding to 2.5 million,
because I think I can do better.
You really need to look at like your risk versus reward, because in this industry, we talk all the time about asymmetric risk versus reward, which means like if you invest one ETH in something and that one ETH could go to 0, but on the upside, you think it could go to 10. That's asymmetric risk reward at its finest.
Exactly.
Well, the flip side is also true, that if you're taking 2 and trying to make 2.5, or like there are actually some examples of people taking like 50 and trying to make 55. And these are examples that other people have outed before of like, why were you trying to do that? And then all of a sudden it slides down to 25. And was it worth it? So anyway, things to think about.
What's going on with POC right now? I'm seeing many cryptic tweets. That's like another thing that I have my pages, but everything happens so fast. I'm just scrolling through Twitter. I used to have my tweets on latest mode, on Twitter, where I just see the latest ones, and then I was missing too much on Twitter because I only see the latest tweets, not like the highlights of the day. So I switched to the top, and now I feel like I miss what's happening in the now. There's like quick little things. So last night I was scrolling, and I see Hawk talking about Discord and portals opening and closing and all this stuff, and I'm like, what I miss?
All right, here's what we know. So broad strokes in general, the Lost Poets project has already been wildly successful, and as he's mentioned, he's just getting things started, right? So what has gone down step by step? So all right, let's go to Harrison first, because he said he got in as one of the first 100 into the portal. So what is the portal? The portal was POC released the Discord. And the Discord, it ties in there. He's gearing up to do the next step, or phase 2 of the Lost Poets game, right? Which is where we find out what are poets, how do pages become poets. Apparently there's a decision to be made. Do you want to keep your pages? Do you want to convert them to poets? Like, much more is going to be trickled out, and I believe it's tomorrow that we begin playing the game. So keep that in mind. So he releases the portal to his Discord. So the portal just means he didn't open his Discord to the world. He said for this 5-minute stretch, I think he did an hour at one point, then he did 3 minutes, whatever. For this X block of time, people can enter the Discord. The first 100 to catch that message and enter were rewarded with a 1 of 100 POC piece, which is insane, right? And so Harrison, congrats, man.
Yeah, congrats on that.
Congrats. That's absolutely insane.
All right, tweet notifications back on for POC.
Gotta be.
He's one of those accounts I toggle that on all the time.
But so apparently some information here is being released today, probably in the Discord, as well as tomorrow game begins. So you have pages. I would stay tuned. Know that tomorrow morning from the other coast, it's going to be time to party.
So burn them all for Ash right now.
Well, that's another thing. So Ash is mooning.
Yeah.
Ash is on fire. Let's see what Ash is right now.
Yeah. Just yesterday, I was like, I should buy some Ash. Just 2 weeks ago, with you on here, I was like, we should buy some Ash.
Well, my first Ash, so it's 2560 right now. 2560. My first Ash was healthy. To get into the Lost Poets project. I bought my first 1 ETH.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah.
Okay, so all-time highs $26 back in beginning of the month. Let's see. And then it went down to $13. back to 25.
Yeah, it looks like
Interesting looking chart, honestly.
Yeah, looks promising. Looks promising. I'm enthused and also terrified. Pac's going to play games, and I think there is a real opportunity to play that game and come out ahead of it, and I think there's an opportunity to not get involved and come out behind it. So we'll see. I'll have a lot of mind share devoted to it when the information comes out, and then as it becomes time to act and make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Pac. Oh, and what else?
Play.
Oh, and the other thing that was interesting. So pages started to rise. I believe the page floor was somewhere around 0.6 to 0.7. And then the Discord launched, and it became clear that the game was about to be played. That those pages then vaulted up to a 1 ETH wall.
Yeah, look at that.
Then Pranksy jumped in there, and Pranksy he pumped $1 million in to break down the 1 ETH wall. So for a minute, they were trading at like up to 1.2 ish, and I believe let's see where they are now. But I think they backed off to just under
0.985 right now.
Yeah. That looks like people are undecided as to whether pages should be priced below, at, or above 1 ETH.
Seems to be hanging right in there.
Juicer, promise I didn't instigate that from him. Juicer may have pushed Pranksy over the edge.
Good.
Good. Yep. Let's get action plan. I mean, hey, listen, if nothing else, it's going to be really, really, really exciting. I don't think anyone's going to be sleeping as Pac is rolling out the main phase 2 game. So let's see what happens. All right. Yeah. What else? We have, another tie into that, which is a brilliant segue, is Sotheby's. Cool. Sotheby's, Pac is in Sotheby's. Lost Poets will be in Sotheby's. There's still some, we don't know exactly how or when or what. However, we do know, and it is live, that Raf Grassetti, Ness Graphics, and several others are within their own Sotheby's exhibition, which I think is so fun. Raf now goes 2 for 2 on the Christie Sotheby's duo, which I think is amazing. He launches his own Discord yesterday, so Raf Grassetti now has a Discord. That's fun.
Awesome.
There was some speculation driven by only me that Raf was actually Pac, and they're both 3 letters. The middle letter's an A. They launched Discords on basically the same day. Anyway, it's a joke for me alone. They're not the same person, I don't think.
I don't think so either. But
Jarlin, good morning. Speaking of news, Jarlin releases his robots. First, how many? 42 editions, I believe. Jarlin doing great things. ART robots on OpenSea. 42 items right now with 29 owners. Floors up to 3 ETH. They were released at 0.35 ETH. So shout out Jarlin Perez for that. I know these robots he's been working on for quite some time. So like to see them doing well. I know Jimmy was in there buying a few early. I may or may not have had my eyes on that secondary market. And then as sometimes things do, it then jumps the level. And it's like, shoot, should have been in there sooner. So let's see. PT Artigrade in here, what's going on, as well as Ent March saying hello. PT says early price drop of Ash was due to some people burning cubes directly from the contract before launch. Interesting. Good info.
Yeah.
Pac closed the contract later, but these people started selling a limited number on swaps, so the price. Interesting. Okay. That's good. That's good color and context. I like that. Infinite Gardener in here. What's going on? Says still a good time to buy pages on OpenSea. That's the grand question, right? I mean, there's always like buy the rumor, sell the news. There's a little bit of that going on. However, when has Pac ever disappointed in game and post game? Never yet. Now, every project that he releases takes on a grander scale, so that's something to consider, right? I think if there's anyone who can pull off, these insane rumors swirling around of what Pac's trying to do on the blockchain level, on the currency level, obviously he's Ash has been proven out for a little bit of time now. But the answer is I don't know. I called Pages an amazing buy. I wrote the RD report 3 weeks ago on like the reasons why, like I personally went into Pages hard. I still believe in Pages. I'm just less like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know 1 ETH per page is a good buy. Like I can't make that statement. I'm very intrigued by the project. I would not be shocked to see it still appreciate. I would not be shocked to see new innovations and developments blow everyone's mind and take this market cap to the absolute stratosphere. I would not be shocked. I just can't sit here and be like, go, do, scoop them. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I feel like anything POC is a solid long-term play. Is it the 1 ETH a good spot to buy it right now to try to flip and make quick profits? I don't know.
Yeah.
But long-term, zoom out 3, 4, 5, 6 months, probably a good move to accumulate POC stuff.
Yeah. And
then financial advice.
You know what I would say is this. I'd frame it as this. I would not look at it as a lock and load flip opportunity. I think there are a lot of people who are thinking that Pages will appreciate when the game launches, but how does that work? How many people are thinking about one thing together and then that thing actually doesn't end up happening? But here's what I will say. If you are someone who has a great grasp of game mechanics and has a lot of time on your hands today through tomorrow, and like you want to go deep and you want to go riddles and you want to get in there and maybe you have some good collector connections and you can band together your collective wisdom, I do think there's probably an opportunity to appreciate based on gameplay. That's what I'll say. So I would say if you're planning on getting in there and playing and like being at the head of the class in terms of understanding whether the right move is to burn or hold or a mix, maybe that's the tip over the edge to go for it.
Agreed.
And Rand.
POC, not bad exposure in the NFT market, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. Right.
What else, man? You're up. Or wait, were you POC or was I POC? I don't even know. Oh, so I went Sotheby's. So just to real quick wrap that up. Again, a shout out to Raph Grassetti, and a shout out to Nest Graphics. And there's also Krista Kim, People Pleaser. Those are the ones that come off the top of the mind. But congrats to all of them. I think at this stage, the big auction houses are still a big deal. We've seen it a few times now, but just no question, it's fun. It's amazing. The pieces themselves look exceptional. Speaking for Raph's piece, which has some really interesting contract mechanics with Manifold, as well as Ness's. I mean, Ness is just classic Ness. A lot of details, a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of incredible stuff. So just very, very excited for both of them.
Yeah, very much well deserved for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. My turn to pick a topic?
Go.
All right. Well, we didn't talk last week, so we have the week before to pull from too. Maybe we get a little spicy.
Spice it up.
Let's talk about OpenSea insider trading.
Yeah. Okay. You want to go first? You want to launch your thoughts? You want me to go?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So here's how I feel. Shoulder shrug. That's how I feel. That's my position.
I'm on the same boat, honestly.
Like, let's think about what it is, right? Insider trading happens everywhere. Sure. But you know what's cool about this type of insider trading is that the public can more readily out it than in a lot of other insider trading playing fields. So, we had the, how long ago was it where like the senator, like someone who was up for re-election in the Senate was basically outed as being part of like a, big insider trading thing, scooped millions and millions of dollars off the table, got the information in a back room, acted on it right away, and it came out way after the fact. I mean, The cool thing about blockchain now, it's like that someone sleuthed that out. Someone got in there and sleuthed it out, connected the dots on their own and publicized it. I think that that's amazing. The transparency that is provided to connect those dots is a plus. And insider trading is going to happen everywhere, forever, historically, in the future, whatever. And so I think what I was hoping to not see, and I haven't really seen it anywhere too mainstream, I was hoping to have it not be like the classic, oh, crypto is dangerous or NFTs are dangerous and look what happened here. Because it's like, it's no different than what happens everywhere else. So like, shame on him for front running and for, doing that stuff. But in the end, I personally am not like, oh, OpenSea needs to suffer for this. I think now they need to button up their policies, which I believe they're doing. They need to be public with it, probably more public with it at some point in time in the future. Fine. Clean it up, do your thing, but it's a shoulder shrug for me.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same boat. It seems like, yeah. I'm not surprised that happened.
Right. Yeah. It's like, it doesn't make it.
I'm not like, what?
It doesn't make it not unfortunate. It doesn't make it not a shame that it happened. It doesn't mean that people should do it. It's just that not surprised, like just not surprised, and not surprised that it's happening. It's probably happening everywhere, Yeah.
It's a bit unethical.
Right. Very unethical.
Technically he was dumping his bags on unsuspecting people, getting in there before everyone. Probably too much alpha for one guy to handle.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think everyone's susceptible to that kind of behavior at times, and it's just the way it goes. But to agree with your point, I think it highlights something that blockchain is great for, which is transparency and uneditable history of transactions. And I'm sure it probably happens all the time on lots of different platforms. And I'm sure a lot of those times people are a little bit smarter about using dummy wallets and not tracing it right back to their main wallet. But it's I think it was a good example of a lot of things. One, how early the industry is and how little regulations there are when it comes to, just like insider trading, policies for these platforms, how small these companies are still as far as like employees go. How much that we're just in the Wild West right now.
Wild West.
And the Twitter mob was a little bit unfortunate. I saw some ugly behavior out there, which was a little sad, but it's the way it goes too.
Yeah, it's like, as we're walking around here and looking left and seeing scams and looking right and seeing insider trading, it's like, let's just understand, the Wild West was maybe a year or two ago. This is still the Wild West. It's still pretty crazy out there. There are still risks out there. It's new technology. There are a lot of things to be aware of. There will be new things every single day. Do your due diligence. Stay sharp out there. Have a group of people, or at least one person that you can trust, that you can bounce things off of, and maybe like stay a little bit ahead of the fray with that. Have sources that you can trust, to educate. What else? I mean, like, just understand the game that you're playing, right? And understand that macro level, and be careful on the micro.
Yep, exactly.
And don't expect others to behave ethically, right? Don't expect that out of others. Instead, maybe understand that some people won't. Prioritize the people in your own life who will. But then when you're out there and, trading or buying or selling, or hey, listen, your life's super easy if you buy something and hold it, right? It's like you stay out of the frenzy. But realistically speaking, there will be those, like, your apes and my ducks. There are those examples of like, hey, we go into to buy and sell and like be on both ends of it. Be careful, do your own due diligence, stay sharp.
Yep, exactly.
That Black, what's going on? You need to focus on accountability and growing from that. Too much attacking on Twitter, I've seen. Parrott, that speaks to what you were just saying too.
Yep, exactly. Let's see. Ooh, off topic, but I accidentally napped through the Bill Ellis collector drop on Nifty Gateway the other day. Did you enter that?
I did. Let's talk about that collector drops. Let's talk about, Bill Ellis is fantastic. I mean, one of the better trailers that were like trailers and experiences put together around it. I mean, he's super detail oriented and he has such insane design to begin with. But man, I mean, he brought it. Like he brought it to the table. Brought physicals across the board, which I think I don't know that it's been talked about enough, but I think Bill's done amazing things prioritizing both the NFT and the physical. He did that for his in memoriam reward, which was if you held all 8 of his in memoriam pieces at a certain date, then you got an amazing NFT and an amazing book. I still think that's the first like mega historical example of someone bringing both of them to the table for basically nothing, for basically saying this is all utility that and beautiful art that I'm giving to those to those collectors of mine who have held. But now to do it again in a collector rewards drop, rewarding basically in one broad sweep all of his collectors, allowing entries to various ones depending on the mechanic, and again having beautiful NFTs and physicals tied together in each of those rewards. I think he deserves a lot of credit for exploring the NFT physical connection.
Yeah, I agree. There's a few people out there. I want to say Slam Sunday is another guy who with his Banned from the Internet book.
Good example.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a few of those artists out there that are really toying that balance very well.
Yep.
Bill Ellis, strong example of that.
And then we can go to Exulo, had a collector reward the night after. Awesome. And then we can go to, I believe it's tomorrow, Friday, a lot of money. And
Speaking of great trailers.
I love that you went there. It's where I was going, man. one of the greatest trailers ever created, in my opinion, because it riffed off of an epically serious trailer, which was Bill Ellis's, and then in only a lot of money fashion, like he just did a lot of money things to Bill Ellis's trailer, made it his own for his own collector rewards drop, and it was the collaboration that I didn't know that we all needed.
That made my day, honestly.
Yeah, agreed. Big shout out to a lot of money. Benny Big NFT, what's up? It is just a game and nothing more. Crypto game hasn't changed. What we are trading changed. That's it. That's for sure a layer of it. I think if we have learned nothing else, we have learned that the majority of the current crowd is financially focused and cryptocurrency focused. I think we've learned that. And I think the beautiful thing is that some who were only financially focused are gaining an appreciation for the art. I think that's the huge positive here. I will be curious if that balance changes and if more of a pure art community develops around it. But you're right, Benny Big. It's a good point. And I do think that's a colder perspective, but a very necessary perspective. And I think people should be aware of that. Going back to our points, as they stay sharp, know the risks, and protect themselves.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen really quick because this is on topic, but Richard just put out this poll the other day, which is the gateway drug to the other NFTs or crypto. You can see that about 60% of at least his followers went from crypto first to NFTs. About 40% went, discovered NFTs, and that's how they got into crypto. So I think that's something important to keep in mind. About the way of the market and kind of the influence of traders and whatnot in the market. And also, I'm sure if you break that down even more, a lot of the NFTs to crypto are a lot of artists, right? And a lot of the crypto to NFTs is probably a lot of collectors and traders. And we all know most of the wealthy whales come from a very strong crypto background. So yeah, that's the name of the game still. But I do think it's a very cool melting pot of culture in between the two worlds.
I rest firmly, by the way, on the side of NFTs to crypto.
Oh yeah, I think that will eclipse that. Give it a year or two.
Exactly. And you think about the popularity of influencers. I think the example that we all know well within the NFT space, and someone who deserves credit for bringing a lot of people in, is Gary Vaynerchuk. Right? Gary Vaynerchuk, just based on pure attachment and interest to Gary V, brought a lot of people who didn't care about crypto to get a wallet. He did a lot of education around that. How do you get your ETH? How do you spend your ETH, et cetera, et cetera. But
Bobby Hundred's another one.
That's a good one. Bobby Hundreds. You can look at like even the Jake Pauls when he did the Pokemon thing, and then he sold his NFTs. Like how many of those people couldn't care less about crypto, but they love Jake Paul, and they saw this thing that Jake Paul was talking about, and they had to have one, right? How do you have one? Well, you got to get your hands on some crypto, and it becomes the gateway drug and the beginning experience. But now tease that line of logic out to all of these influencers across art and music and movies and general celebrity and TikTok influencers and YouTube influencers. And like, you could just keep going with that. And imagine every single one of them or close, because I think it's kind of inevitable that they all explore NFTs at some point.
Yeah.
When that project comes around and they have something cool that they've done themselves, they've collaborated with someone on whatever, and they bring that out, that's a ready-made fan base that's like ravenous for basically anything that person does. And oh, by the way, if they need to learn like MetaMask and ETH to put $1,000 in to get something back that they care about based on someone they love, they're going to do it. And so, yeah, no question in my mind, a year passes and that equation starts to flip.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, NFTs are a way to self-monetize culture and content, and there's much more culture and content out there than people who are interested in just finance and crypto, I think.
I'm with you, man. March says, do you guys know of Ash Thorpe? Curious to know what you guys think of his NFTs and art. I don't know enough about Ash Thorpe. I am aware of Ash Thorpe. I have seen Ash Thorpe's art. I understand he's definitely one of the OGs in this space. From what I've seen of his art, I'm a fan. But it's one of those names, and unfortunately there are many. Goes back to the point of can't keep up with everything at once. It's one of those names that's in my mind is like I want and now need to know more about and do the deeper dive. It's like, dude, remember the end of 2020 when the artists who were in NFTs was able to just casually do research and look at all of the art and understand the trajectory and like develop an opinion on like, do I love it? Do I respect it? Do all those things. Now it's just impossible. It's like, it's a shame, but I'll probably jump off and do some Ash Thorpe today just because it's here and now. But like how many other names may like I personally like never do the deep dive on just because I can't.
Yeah, I think that's why you see some artists that are somewhat grandfathered in to the market is because there was a time a year ago, even 8 months ago, where there was just not that many artists, like pre-Beeple Nifty Gateway drop. Before there's like, I feel like there's, a large flood of 3D artists that came in after that. Before that though, you had like you could go on the top sellers of super rare, rareable, Nifty Gateway and be like, oh, I, interact with all these people on a daily or bi-daily basis on Twitter already. It was a very small community back then. Relationships were made and collectors were able to understand the trajectory and the art on like such a more intimate level. I feel like the pond has just grown. There's so many little fishies in there now.
Yeah, you're right. It's becoming an ocean.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe it's a sea now, but maybe it's an open sea now, but it will become an ocean. I got dad jokes all day, bro. Harrison wants to know 4 days left in the Christie's auction. Curious where you see the zombie punk and apes ending up at. I'm not the best guy for that opinion. Like I could, ballparks are cool and all, but like I am far from the punk and ape expert at this stage. Do you have any concrete opinions on that?
Me? No, not too much, honestly. I haven't really been following up on it or, looking at it that much at all. What did the Sotheby's auction go for? 24 mil, 24.5,
yeah, 24 and change. Yep, exactly.
All right, let's see. Current bid on the zombie is 6 million flat. The estimate's 4.8 to 6.8, so already at the high end of the estimate with 4 days to go. Solid. Let's see, we got 1.3 mil on the cowboy punk with a cigarette. feel like the hoodie punk's going to go for a lot more than 1.8, but maybe not. Then we got some apes. Crazy seeing apes and Christie's.
Yeah, right.
4.8 mil on one ape. It looks like number 8,746. Do you want me to screen share? So this is
Yeah, let's do it.
okay. All right. Christie's auction, no time like the present. So we go to the top here. Here's the zombie closing in 4 days. Current bid 6 mil. Here is Larva Labs. Was Larva Labs founded in 2005? Is that what that means?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, cool. 1.3 on that one, 1.2, 1.8, 1.2, 1.8. So we go down the list. And then we got the apes right here, 4.8 for the laser eyes. And 2.2 for the zombie with the grill. 850K and 850K for these two.
Pretty amazing, man. I mean, think about, what are we, 5 months into Bored Apes? Is that true? It's right around there.
Maybe less, honestly. I want to say May, June, July, August, September. I think 4 months, man.
Which is just crazy. I mean, that speaks to the speed, right? Just the speed, the acceleration of all of this. And there are the fun sleepers down there.
Yeah, the Meebits.
Yeah, I still think. I mean, Meebits have appreciated. They have appreciated. They did catch a little bit of fire, but man, do I still think that they are relatively speaking being slept on.
I'd have to agree, honestly. I do have one, so I might be pumping my own bags, but.
Oh, by the way, Parrott, Juicer makes a very important point here. The dollar conversion. So the prices here, those are what?
Oh,
that's HKD. So yeah, it's a fraction of what it looks like. Notice by the way, Juicer, how we're both just like nodding along, like, oh yeah, 4.8 million, like no big deal, no problem.
Oh, okay, there we go. Let me look at this again and be like, oh, but 6 million for a zombie punk. It's not the craziest. I mean, I don't know. Someone was like a zombie punk sold for 6 million USD. I'd be like, okay,
yeah. Would not put anything past it at this point in time. But at least all right, what can we do? What conclusions can we make that are probably accurate? I mean, their estimates still suck, right? You can throw those out. They're kind of they're irrelevant, so they're going to exceed their estimates. They'll eventually catch up and get it right, but not now, not yet.
Okay, cool. Because honestly, this makes me feel a little bit better because I was looking at this pig right here, right?
Yeah.
I said, wow, 130K, and I had this flashback of during my time of buying and selling the Bored Apes 4 months ago, I minted a pig knee bit. And so there's a small tinge of sadness when I saw that because I already sold it.
Oh, you sold the pig. Oh, no.
for a healthy profit, it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
And I have another me bit now, and I've, like we were talking about earlier, a butterfly effect of investing and reinvesting. And,
let's do this. The pig is 16K at the moment, which is ridiculously low, I think, for where it'll end up being.
16K
so
for a pig?
Yeah, a lot of appreciation left to go in terms of where those auctions are at.
You know what the foreign pigs are?
I haven't checked in a minute, actually. I haven't checked in about a week.
All right, I'm gonna go take a little peek at that.
Do it.
Type.
And we'll hop at 5 of, just because if anyone wants to get ready for that time launch, I think it'd be a good time to do so. Get prepped up to maybe try and snag one of those. But I don't want to forget to mention a couple things. One, we have Origin Stories interview coming out later today with Pussy Riot, Nadia from Pussy Riot. It was an awesome interview, absolute legend, really insightful conversation. So that's coming. And then also want to give a huge shout out to Larona. And Larona is someone who I think has created fabulous art, a clear vision, and a brand around herself and her boys. And the world is like progressively waking up to it, and it's stunning to see what she's out there doing right now. Odious' boy was just picked up for 31.1 ETH today.
Yes.
I don't even know. Let's give the rundown there. Raf Grassetti had a boy I can't even imagine. Let's see.
This is on Rareable, correct?
On Rareable. Yep.
All right. We'll go over there and do some more screen sharing. Juicer says that pig is 16K at the minute. Thank you for the live conversions, by the way. I'm too lazy to think that hard right now.
Juicer's on top of it. Juicer is on top of it.
And then the pig floor, by the way, 20-something ETH on OpenSea.
Yeah, so we got a ways to go there. A ways to go. So I want to see what did Brave Boy go for.
That's another thing, you know, while we're on the topic of these boys right now, one of my favorite parts about that project is the collab aspect of it and how it's so inclusive. I think it's very hard. One, I want to say, you know, Defaced is another great artist that does this, but to stay so on brand with a motif or an idea while also actively collaborating with so many people, you know, as an artist myself, that I know that's hard to do at times. So very, very cool. Let's see. Look at the floor.
It's insane.
Oh my God.
But it's even like, so that the D's boy went for 26.69 ETH. Did Odious go for more? Odious went for more than Raf. Go Odious. Shout out Odious. Holy cow. Raf went for 29 and change. Odious for 31 and change.
Let's see. We got the Evil Boy. History.
Evil Boy went for 28 ETH.
Solid.
Excellent. Love it. Love every bit of it.
Which one's this one right here? Minimum bid 69.69.
No, that's I think the person who bought it immediately set up an auction to try to flip it.
Catching on the hype. I see.
That's right. So that was one. I think that was 26 and change. Yeah, good stuff.
Where is Odious? I'm just not used to Rareable, honestly.
On mine, Odious was at the top. It looks like you might have a different
I saw it.
Yep.
Ooh.
There we go.
Nice. Very cool. Odious.
Yep.
Boom.
Amazing.
Gorgeous. Fuck render in there. Nice to see.
Yep, for sure. How far ago 3 ETH seems in this Odious boys journey.
Good. Love that.
And even thinking back, like when there was the Bill Ellis boy, I think that went for 10 ETH. But just again, it just keeps that collection and that vision just keeps marching forward. Seems to pick up steam each and every release. So incredible stuff. Shout out Lorona. I think that's it, man. We got some timepieces. Good luck to anyone who's trying to acquire their own. Again, much love to Time Magazine and Keith Grossman. Great vision. Amazing things going on. We lowered the number. Oh, interesting breaking news on the Time. Well, not. You may have seen it was like 50 minutes ago, but they lowered the number of timepieces to 10 max per wallet. So that's interesting.
When does that go live, by the way?
In 6 minutes, my friend.
Oh, perfect.
6 minutes.
Where can I find a link?
nft.time.com.
Perfect. nft.time.com.
We are sub 5 minutes on that. Yep, for sure.
Oh, Cass. All right. NFTs will be sold in a blind drop on Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Each NFT in this collection will be 0.1 ETH, and buyers can purchase up to 10. Ownership of a timepiece provides you with unlimited access to time.com through Time's 100th anniversary and other exclusive benefits. Yeah, right. So we got Fuck Render in here. We got Beige. We got Jay Silva, Justin Aversano, and Nicole Buffett. Olive Allen,
Shout out.
Victor Mascara.
Who's that?
And who's that? And many other people that I don't know firsthand, but I'm sure are amazing artists.
All right, brother. Let's hop here. Let's cut it. Good luck to everybody. Safe flight for you after you land one of your own timepieces.
Thank you, friend. Yeah, hopefully we can get together in person. I'll be in New York for a week, so let me know.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Right.
All right, bro. Thank you, everyone, for crushing in here. Juicero with the updates. Harrison was a big part of this. A lot of people. Benny Big,
Yep.
PT Artigrade, Jarlin, Infinite Gardener, Sky, That Black. I'm missing some people. And March. Love y'all.
Peace out, everybody.